As a nutritional therapy practitioner who has my own business, I am working on growing baby number 7. We homeschool. We have a lot going on. We travel a lot as a family, and for me, for work conferences, all of that kind of stuff. So I just want to unpack for you what are my daily non-negotiables, regardless of where I am, who I'm with, what I have on the agenda that day, how busy or laid back it is. These are the things I must do inside my every single day. If you're new here, I'm Rita Johnson. I'm the owner of Health and Hormones, and here you'll find all things fatigue solutions, period help, and so much more. Let's dive in. So, like I mentioned, we are on the run a lot, whether it's getting the kids to homeschool co-op during the school year, getting them to their activities, or a packed work day. It is a lot to juggle, and in part of that is that I have a wide range of children's ages. My oldest is 17 and just graduated from high school. The youngest is due in November as I'm currently recording this. And so we have a lot going on, but by the end of this year, although I'll have a 2-year-old and a newborn, I'll also have 2 drivers. So that is a huge piece of my puzzle, if you will, which I think is important to say, because a lot of times when I talk to other women and they're like, I'm just really struggling and look at all that you're doing and it feels very overwhelming. And then I find out that they have 5 kids 10 and under. That's an entirely different ballgame than what I'm doing in my day-to-day life and the way that I'm able to delegate and have older people help me. So first and foremost, I just want to say, if you're just with little people, hang in there, mama. It's going to get better. If you have a lot going on and you're starting to see some ways that maybe you could let some things off of your plate to help ease things up, that's what I want you to start to think about in this episode today. As I go through some of the things that are absolute non-negotiables for me in my day-to-day life, I also want to start to unpack a little bit of what are some of the ways we make it work. My husband works long hours. He is actually going to start traveling a lot more than he ever has beginning August 1st. And so we just have a lot going on. So my daily non-negotiables are to get 9 hours of sleep or horizontal bedtime. I have to prioritize this for myself, especially being pregnant in my 40s. I know how important that sleep for me is going to be, because the next day, if I don't get that, I'm really going to be dragging. And whether I'm pregnant or not, guarding my sleep has been such a huge game changer for me to be able to go all day long. There's times when I'm going to prioritize napping. Definitely as I enter into my 3rd trimester with this baby, I will be carving out time in my work days where I can just take a 30-minute nap if I didn't sleep great the night before. However, I'm always guarding that 9 hours at night. And even if I find I don't need that much sleep, my body will wake up early enough that I can have more quiet prayer time. That moves on to my second non-negotiable, is quiet meditative prayer time. My personal favorite is if it's spring, summer, or fall where I live. I'll grab my cup of coffee in the morning, throw my collagen in it, and go outside with my Magnificat and read the daily readings of the day. Meditate on, a meditation that usually it's a saint or somebody has written, or just really talk to the Lord. And sometimes it's a lot more of holding my coffee cup and just letting my mind rest in Him, just receiving His love for me in that day. This is pivotal to the rest of my day. And it is something where my children know if the little one is up, the 1-year-old, he might come and go inside and outside with me. But everyone else, if they want to come be by mama first thing in the morning, that's fine. But I'm praying right now. And so we just have to be quiet. And you can grab your Bible or you can grab your spiritual reading book and sit by me. But this is a non-negotiable for me to have peace throughout the rest of my day, to feel grounded and to not be reacting to everything in my day, but instead to just really be able to feel the Lord's presence and see what He's doing in each moment of the day. Another one of my non-negotiable is 3 square meals a day where I sit down to eat them. I'm not always the best at making every single meal from scratch. I'm not always the best at packing everything I should in each meal. Sometimes I skimp on veggies, especially at lunch. It's just hard to pack it in the midst of transitioning from homeschooling to going to sit at my computer to get some work done, to trying to get the baby down for a nap. It is really tricky to do all of those things. And so there are times when I'm really good at weekend prepping and having veggies cut ahead of time, having things prepared so that this is even easier for me. But then there's times like this week that my husband and I went on a weekend getaway for our anniversary. We flew home really late Sunday night, and Monday we were just dragging. There was no additional prep work done for meals, right? And so it was a bit more hodgepodge and messy, and that's okay. And just knowing that I have the ability to give myself grace, that for dinner, I'm gonna make a bigger meal that next night so that we have leftovers for the next lunch, or having things in my freezer in advance, like frozen sheet pan veggies or something like that, to be able to beef up my breakfast or my lunch with easy, already prepared veggies. I love to lean on the freezer for that, especially when we're coming and going from traveling. Another non-negotiable that I have in my day is a daily walk, ideally with my husband. We aim to go for a 2-mile walk every day. Sometimes it is just 15 minutes when our schedules align between meetings and children's stuff. But usually we go for about 45 minutes a day. And depending on where we are, we have a 2 or a 3-mile loop. And that is so huge for my mental sanity when I am, especially if I'm in my office and I'm just plowing through and I'm having a really hard time wrapping my head around how to do something or how to say something, or, I feel like I'm just butting up against a wall in my brain. If I go for a walk, it helps to be able to see things clearly. There's this wonderful quote by St. Augustine, and I should have looked it up before hitting record on this, but he basically says that our brains work by walking, we think. And it's just so cool because there's so many other ways. I've then heard that echoed in business circles, in other places that they say, like how we basically move information from one side of the brain to the other when we're walking. Also, we're burning off that cortisol. If you're just sitting at your desk, you're stressed. We're burning that cortisol instead of just letting it simmer in our body all day and slowly rising higher and higher. I see this very often with my husband, who's done back-to-back very high-stress meetings, and we go for a walk and we come back and he's like, oh, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do now. It's also wonderful for our marriage because I like to joke and say, if you're out on a walk and you just say hard things, you're just there together. You have to process through that. What does that mean? What are you saying? Let me try to understand you better. It has been one of the best things we've done for our marriage. We've been doing this for almost 6 years now. And yes, my calves have appreciated it. They're definitely more defined. But my marriage has been able to process so much that I just don't think we would have had the capacity or the time for if we weren't able to go on these daily walks. And there's been seasons we have little people in strollers. Right now is definitely one of those. Soon we'll have to get a double stroller for this new little one. But it's just so important for us in our marriage to be able to prioritize that. So those are some of my top non-negotiables in any given day. Whether we're traveling, whether we're driving all day, whether we just got back from a trip, or we're homeschooling, co-op, and work time, whatever it is, we just try to stake out these things. And I find that when I'm able to balance my blood sugar with 3 rounded meals, when I'm able to have that prayer time, to really get that restorative sleep at night, and then to get some movement into my day, if nothing else happens, that's okay. And then I have my ideal list, right? My extra things that I'm always aiming to do. Family game night in the evenings, strength training 2 to 3 times a week, right? There's these additional things as well, but these are my daily non-negotiables. So if you're struggling to figure out how do I get them in, what does that look like for me? I just invite you to start to think through, are there ways you could delegate things out? Or are there situations where, like I mentioned, when we might have the little one in the stroller with us, when there was a season when our oldest was a bit younger, we would just go back and forth on the sidewalk in our neighborhood in front of the house. And we had a rule: if somebody needs us, if something's wrong, stand inside the house in the front door and we'll stop and come talk to them. And there was a season that we did that a lot, and it felt really frustrating because we felt like we couldn't get a walk in, but it wasn't just about the exercise. exercise. Yes, we were still moving our bodies. Yes, we were still able to have a conversation. It was interrupted a lot more, but it was okay because they were able to know that we were there for them. And in time, less and less little faces appeared in that doorway, and we were able to get more of a walk-in. So I hope this helps. If you'd like more tips like this, please make a comment below. Let me know what are some things that would help you to kind of see how can I start to do this differently, with any tips or tricks that would be helpful for you. Please like and subscribe for more from me.